What men actually need, why he pulls away. Even when you try harder, listen carefully, because this is where a lot of women get confused without even realizing it. They think if they are loyal, supportive, present, that should be enough to make a man stay. They believe if they give more, try harder, show more love, he will naturally meet them at that level. But then something doesn't add up. You're giving, you're showing up, you're trying to build something real, and yet he still feels distant, less engaged, less invested, and now you're sitting there asking yourself the same question over and over again. What am I missing? Because from your side, it feels like you're doing everything right. But listen closely. A man doesn't stay because you do more. He stays because of how he feels when he's with you. And that right there is what most people misunderstand. Before we go deeper, I want you to pause for a second and be honest with yourself. Are you trying to earn love? Or are you experiencing it? Because those are two completely different things. And if you want real, unfiltered truths about modern relationships, subscribe to this channel right now, because what you're about to hear will change how you see everything. Now listen, men don't always express what they need directly, not because they don't have emotional needs, but because they process things differently. Instead of explaining everything, they respond to how they feel. They lean in when something feels right. They pull back when something feels off, even if they can't explain why. And if you don't understand what creates that feeling, you'll keep trying harder in ways that don't actually build connection. You'll give more in the wrong areas. You'll overextend. You'll overthink. And slowly, you'll start feeling like you're not enough, when in reality, you're just not aligned with what actually matters to him. So if you really want to understand what makes a man stay, you have to go beneath the surface. Not what he says, but what he needs underneath everything. Let's break it down. 1. He needs emotional peace, not constant pressure. This is one of the biggest differences. A man may not say it out loud, but he is always moving toward what feels like peace, and away from what feels like pressure, because most men are already dealing with pressure in their daily lives. Work, expectations, responsibilities, the constant need to perform. So when that same pressure follows him into a relationship, something starts to shift, not loudly, but quietly. He starts feeling like he can't relax, like he has to be careful, like one wrong move will turn into conflict. And that's where emotional distance begins. But when he's with a woman who brings calm instead of chaos, everything changes. He feels at ease. He feels like he can breathe. And that feeling, that's powerful. Because now, he doesn't just like you. He associates you with peace. And people don't walk away from peace easily. 2, he needs respect, not constant correction. Respect isn't just about big actions. It shows up in small moments, tone, reactions, how you speak to him when things go wrong. Because a man is always aware of how he's being seen by you. Even if he never says it, if he constantly feels corrected, criticized, or compared, he starts pulling back, not because he doesn't care, but because he doesn't feel respected. And when respect is missing, connection slowly fades. But when a man feels respected, he leans in, he becomes more present, more consistent, more invested, because now he feels valued, not judged, and that changes everything. 3, he needs appreciation, not silent expectation. At the beginning of a relationship, everything is noticed. Effort feels meaningful, but over time, what once felt special becomes expected. And when effort becomes expected, it often stops being appreciated. That's where things start to break down, because a man feels when his effort goes unnoticed. And when someone feels like what they do doesn't matter, they slowly stop doing it. But when he feels appreciated, he gives more, not because he has to, but because he wants to. Appreciation creates momentum, and that momentum builds emotional attachment. 4. He needs space, not control. This is where many relationships struggle, because closeness is often confused with control. More texting, more checking, more constant communication. But for many men, too much pressure feels like restriction, like they're losing their independence. And when a man feels trapped, he pulls away, not because he doesn't care, but because he needs to breathe. But when he's with a woman who understands balance, something shifts. She doesn't panic when there's space. She doesn't assume distance means disinterest. She trusts the connection, and because of that, he feels free. And when a man feels free, he stays. Not because he's forced to, but because he chooses to. 5. He needs emotional safety, not judgment. This one goes deeper than most people realize. Many men are not used to expressing vulnerability, not because they don't feel, but because they're not sure how it will be received. Maybe they were judged before, maybe they were misunderstood, so they learn to hold things in. But when a man feels emotionally safe, he opens up, not all at once, but gradually, because now he feels understood. And that creates a deeper connection, because emotional safety builds trust, and trust builds real intimacy. 6. He needs support, not constant opposition. This is where long-term connection is built, or broken. A man doesn't want to feel like he's constantly being challenged, or that he has to defend every decision. There's a difference between healthy disagreement and constant opposition. One builds connection, the other creates distance. Because a man wants to feel like you're with him, not against him. And when he feels supported, he grows. He becomes more open, more motivated, more invested, because now he's not doing it alone. Bringing it all together. Look at this clearly. Peace, respect, appreciation, space, emotional safety, support. None of these are loud. None of these are dramatic. But together, they create something powerful. They create stability. And stability is what keeps a man, not chaos, not emotional highs and lows. Because excitement may attract him, but peace is what keeps him. Now listen carefully. Most people think love is about intensity, but intensity without stability creates confusion, and confusion leads to distance. But when a relationship feels calm, clear, and balanced, a man doesn't feel like escaping. He feels like staying. And when he feels that consistently, he invests, not because he has to, but because he wants to. So if you ever find yourself asking, am I doing enough? Take a step back, because it's not about doing more. It's about understanding what actually matters. And once you align with that, everything becomes clearer. Not perfect, but clear. And clarity is what builds real connection. Now listen, if this gave you a new perspective, subscribe to the channel, because this is where you stop guessing and start understanding how relationships really work. Because at the end of the day, a man doesn't stay for effort alone. He stays for how it feels to be with you. And when it feels right, he doesn't need to be convinced. He already knows.